Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott Wave update for MANTA. Now, before I get into this count, I was just looking at the full chart of MANTA according to CoinMarketCap on candlestick form, because some of the exchanges have like a spike over here. I'm going with CoinMarketCap. If you have a better data set to give me for MANTA, please leave it in the comment section below. But as of right now, I have a couple different counts I'm following, but it's important to note that the low is over here, high is over here, new high over here, and this is not a lower low. So just going off that for when we talk about this chart. I've mentioned many times that when we come up to price discovery, we either break out or we tend to range sideways for a very, very long time. And if we tend to range sideways for a very, very long time, I just kind of ignore the chart, set my alarms at the high end and the low end of the range, and leave it till one of them goes off, because it's very frustrating to trade within a range. And all you're getting is a series of threes. So I'm going to get into this chart, and I will show you the bullish count. But please realize how difficult it is. And very soon, if this does not play out in the bullish manner, I'm going to just set my alarms at the highs and the lows, close to that, and ignore it for updates if it doesn't end up breaking out in this scenario. So going back to the CoinMarketCap chart, just going with that. So this is technically all there is on the chart. I'll double check the highs and lows if we start to trend, but just wanted to show you the scenario. So first of all, the bullish scenario is we have a 1, 2 as a WXY completed here that hit the 1-to-1 of this WXY if this is complete here. So we would call this our wave 2 you see in green. I can also label this as a diagonal as well of one lesser degree. I can label this as 3 or 5 as a diagonal. That's the trouble with diagonals. It's either a WXY or a diagonal as a second 1-2. In the second 1-2 scenario, as a diagonal of one lesser degree, we've come pretty deep. We haven't closed below the 618, but we wicked through it. So realize we're pretty much at the end of the ropes for this to be bullish. Invalidation of this as a wave 2 is at 214.37 according to MEXC. That would be invalidation. Although if we come any lower than currently, I mean, we're pushing probabilities pretty significantly that this count is wrong, right? Just going with guidelines. So if we have this as a diagonal 1 and 2 and another diagonal 1 and 2 of one lesser degree, then we would expect this pivot to hold, and we would launch up here into our third in price discovery. Our third of the third should hit around 725. Then we pull back to around 487, and then we push between 928 and 1080 for our third wave to complete. So as you can see, we need to push very soon if this is the case. The nice thing is, not financial advice, just what I would do personally, but there's a couple ways to play this. Option 1 is to consider the low in. So if we did that trade setup, we'd pretty much take it from now, put our stop at the low, because this can merge into a weird diagonal, or if it's a 1-2, 1-2, you know, we're not sure until it plays out. But we'd be targeting at least the 1.618 just for the third of the third. And as you can see, it's like an 8-to-1. It's pretty good. Or if you're buying for the long term, you just put your stop at that low at 214.37, and you're just long term holding this, going all the way up here, you know, 7-8-to-1 with the stop down at that low. So to me personally, this is just a long-term DCA currently until we have a strong count on what's happening since this low. If we get a nice clean 5 waves up, I would be pretty interested in leveraging up this trade. If we don't, that's where we get into my alternative, which I want to talk about now, which is where we get range bound. So the alternative is, this is a W wave. Again, this can be counted as a diagonal or a ABC, where you get a 3 there, expanded flat B, 5 up for our C. As you can see, it can be counted both ways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a flat. So I dug into this pretty deep, and it's perfectly valid both ways. And what that would look like is we get a 3W, 3X, and we get a 3 or a 5 here for our Y. If it's a C wave, this would turn into some sort of diagonal in 5, but the targets are the same, 3 or 5. And that 1-to-1 is down at 224, which is the 1-to-1 of this W, X off the Y. I also put out the 1-to-1 in time of our W wave off the Y. That would take us all the way out to second week of April. And that's where we just come up, reject off the 618 before the 786, come down. And then we can attempt a high. And that would become a flat here. And then we can attempt a high again. But you can see it sucks when you get range bound. It's really difficult. So that's what I'm looking at. Either we take off here in our third of the third. First target for that for a third wave is 725. If this is a diagonal 1, 2, and another diagonal 1, 2 of one lesser degree. I see no impulse here currently on the micro off that pivot low. Pretty ugly, right? It would have to morph into some sort of diagonal to me. But again, then we're getting 3 diagonals in a row, one of one lesser degree each. So until I see significant breaks, like if I can get a nice diagonal, or if this turns into, yeah, it's very ugly. I'm not even going to attempt to try and make that an impulse. But unless something clarifies itself here, just going to wait and see what levels break. Again, past the 786, if we actually get a clean count off this at some point, I will make sure to update this. But again, it's a good long-term buy. You even see as the WXY, our 1-to-1 should even protect this low at 214. So if you're okay with a drawdown of 25, 30%, it's a good long-term DCA, because the upside you saw is 8-to-1 plus just for this third wave. So I'll leave that to you, not financial advice, but you can see the difficulty and why I always say, when we get a new chart, if we don't break out, you're just stuck. You're stuck for like months and months, right? Very frustrating. But we'll see. And again, if this somehow turns into an impulse, like a weird 1, 2, 1, 2, and they get like a 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, up to the 618 extension there, and the 1-to-1 of one lesser degree, and it happens relatively quick, you're not missing out on much. Like, I'd be interested in getting along at that point, and we can use our regular guidelines, stop past the 618, and just go and get a better risk reward. So I'm not buying into this one at the moment. I'm just going to wait and get a better entry once I get a clean count, because I think this is just as likely to happen as we get an impulse to the upside, right? And then we attempt our new high. All right, guys, so that's it for Manta. Sorry, I wish I had a better count on this, but you've seen me follow it the whole way. We got the direction right a lot, but the wave count was very difficult all the way through. We did get this short. This got screwed up a little bit. I think we got this long over here, but targets were all off. We were looking for an impulse, not a diagonal, so pretty frustrating. All right, so those are the two counts. Again, not predicting the future. This is just if we are bullish, and that technically is labeled correctly as a 1-2-1-2. That's what we're looking for. if we're halfway through the correction, this is the path it should take before we attempt a new high. All right, guys, so that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.